What's up? Today we got Thurman's Season 1, Episode 12, Restaurant Crashers. So this episode starts off at Thurman's garage of all places. Yeah, new location. Where we see Hank admiring a car he bought for his and Barb's anniversary gift. Phoebe comes in looking for Hank when she sees the car. Hank says she's the last person he wanted to see this, and Phoebe thinks the car is for her but Hank says it's for his and Barb and Hank's anniversary. Hank says he didn't tell Phoebe because she's not good at keeping secrets. Phoebe says, yeah, what? Her not good at keeping secrets? Then we get a flashback in Metroburg to a young Phoebe. It's kind of cool that young Phoebe is actually played by the same actor that played her in Weird Science Fair. So it's kind of a cool nod that they have the exact same young actress play her in the two different episodes. So yeah, a flashback in Metroburg. A young Phoebe asks Barb does she know what Hank's getting her for her birthday. Barb says she's keeping it a secret, and boy, does Rosa Blassie really look good as a young Barb. Hank, on the other hand, he just looks like regular Hank. He's just not looking young at all, which is very weird. Yeah. Barb says he's keeping it a secret, and young Phoebe says she can tell her one thing: it's definitely not a watch. And that's when Hank shows up with a watch, mouthing. Then back in the present, Phoebe says leaving he says mouthing in the flashback end, leaving in the flashback end. Back in the present, Phoebe says that was 5 years ago in Metroburg. She can totally handle secrets. Then flashback to 20 minutes ago. Hank asks Phoebe how her homework's coming, and Phoebe tells Barb that Hank is taking her to a steakhouse. And again, Hank is like, flashback ends. Phoebe says she learned her lesson since then. And Phoebe almost feels that the bowling ball, that Hank got a bowling ball. Realizing that he might have a point. Hank begs Phoebe not to spoil the surprise, and Phoebe says Barb's gonna love it. And Hank says the minivan was on its last legs and needed a new car. Anyway, he figured out that he had killed two birds with one stone. Phoebe says he might want to leave the bird killing part out of it. Not very romantic. Hank says she won't. Hank reveals that he wrote Barb a poem. Phoebe says she can't wait to tell her, but then realizes, yeah. She realizes, yeah. She says she won't tell her. Then they leave the garage with Max eating cereal. Don't know how their hands got unglued from the last episode, which, probably will. From the last episode, but I don't know. Don't know how their hands got unglued, but because if you remember at the end of the last episode, Hank super glued them together. So, but this episode they're somehow unglued. Don't know how they unglued themselves from super glue, but Max eating cereal and says hey to them, which feels unlike Max. Max would never say hey to Hank, but to Phoebe? Phoebe starts acting weird, saying that she'll never tell, stop asking questions. Phoebe says she'll never tell, stop asking, she said too much leaving Max and Hank confused on what just happened. After the opening, Nora says the cartoon she and Max are watching doesn't make any sense. Max says, did anyone over 2 find it funny? Then we cut to Billy laughing at it because I'm not going to get into this episode. The writers know what they did. They know they get me angry every time I have to mention this. Nora and Max look at each other. Then Hank and Barb show up saying Phoebe apologizes for ruining the fake house plans, and Phoebe says there's nothing else in store. Just dinner. Nope. Nada. Nothing. Hank says, okay, let's go. Then the thunder monitor alerts them to blobbin calling. Barb tells him that's the cousin blobbin they've been telling them about. We've never heard Barb say this, so yeah, I guess Barb's been saying stuff about blobbin off screen. Yeah. Yeah, the American Blob's sidekick before he passed away. Nora calls Blobbin the lucky sucker who got everything. Hank says, "Oh, where do kids hear these things?" And Billy says, "Hank says it all the time," and Hank shuts him up. Wow, Hank roasts Blobbin. Phoebe asks Blobbin why if he's sitting on a pile of cash, and Blobbin says, yeah. What is he supposed to do with the pile of cash Uncle Blob's left him? Then he says he needs to stoke the fire a bit. He smells the money before throwing it into the fire. I don't even want to explain it. He smells the money, then just throws it on the fire because I guess because he has. Bro, Blobbin, your partner gave you that money, and what are you gonna do with it? You're gonna smell it and then throw it into the fire, bro. Uncle Wilfred is probably thinking from heaven, being like, Blobbin, I gave you that money and you're wasting it. I gave you my mansion, I gave you my money, and you're just gonna, what, throw it in the fire? What is the matter with you? You gotta throw it in the fire. What's the matter with you? Anyway, just saying, that's weird. Yeah. Max says Blobbin owes him a lifetime of Christmas present. Lifetime of Christmas present birthday gift. Phoebe says double it because they're twins. Hank says they love to catch up, but they have dinner reservation. Blobbin says that's why he called and wishes them a happy anniversary. Barb says he remembered. How sweet of him. Blobbin says they're a family. They look out for each other. And if they need anything, he means anything, just call. You know what he'll say? Then Billy and Blobbin both say, this sounds like a job for a blob. Because then Blobbin says Billy knows this superhero. Hank says thanks for calling. Blobbin says Blobbin says, you got it. I love you, Hank. And what does Hank do? He says, thanks again. Literally dismissing Blobbin. Blobbin says, you can't leave a guy hanging. Well, then I love you. You gotta say it back. And Hank just says, he's a funny guy. Hank, you are a jerk. This dude literally just wants love from you, and what do? You blow him off. No wonder this plot keeps... You literally start a whole plot. Thanks a lot, Hank. Anyway, Hank says he hates to go, but they got dinner reservations. Blobbin tries to say, like, dude, just say it one more. You just gotta say it once. And Hank just ends the call because... And Barb witnesses all this, and she doesn't even, like, go after Hank for being a jerk to Blobbin. She just stands there and smiles the whole time. She's not like, Hank, you literally... Blobbin's our cousin. And you literally just dissed him. And then literally ignored him. But no, Barb's just like, oh, Hank. And smiles the whole way, not even thinking once about what Blobbin says. Like, not even going after Hank or anything. She just stands there smiling while Hank literally is mean to his cousin. Wow, Barb, I thought that you were meant to be the nice one. You should be going after Hank. But nope, she just smiles and then leaves. She smiles. Yeah. Barb says they'll be back by 10, not even questioning what just happened with the blobbin situation. Phoebe says, drive carefully. They only have one car, definitely not two. And Hank says they have to go and tells Phoebe she has a serious problem. Before leaving, Phoebe leaves and Billy says Phoebe knows something, rubbing her hands evilly. Nora says she knows how to get her to talk. She knows how to make Phoebe talk. Then cuts to Nora telling Phoebe to tell them what she knows or the unicorn gets it. Phoebe says, that's Nora Unicorn. And Nora says, don't hurt Larry. Yep, Nora named her unicorn Larry. And this is another episode where the writers do not know which thing they want Nora to wear this episode. Because she starts the episode with a bow, but then goes into a flower headband earlier in the episode. Later on. Like, is this going to be a common trend until season 2 where they actually stick with Nora wearing bows? Because if you're going to let Nora wear a bow, don't switch it to a headband later on. It makes reviewers like me have to call you out. Because I'm calling you out, writers. I know this came out years ago, but as a reviewer of this show I love, I have to tell you that this is very confusing. Jed Springgarden. This is very confusing when you have Nora wear a bow, but then wear a headband, but then go back to wearing a bow. It's confusing. Yep. She's wearing a headband. I chose this one. But anyway, back to the plot. Yeah. Max says, let the cat out of the bag. Phoebe says never. Then Billy says, if there's a cat in a bag, they should let it out. Ha ha ha. Funny. Get it? Billy is not smart. Laugh at how not smart he is. Ha ha ha. This is just... This is so bad. I don't get why the writers or whoever have to keep doing these jokes, have to keep doing the jokes over and over that, oh, by the way, Billy is not smart. Audience, remember, Billy's not smart. Because we're going to tell you this every episode, that Billy is not smart. And it drives me insane that this continually has to be a joke. I'll probably mention every review that Billy's not smart, because it's literally the entire joke with him. They say something, Billy takes it literally, and we laugh at it because we're like, ha ha ha, Billy is dumb. Billy's dumb. That's the joke. Billy's dumb. They do it every episode. It's not funny. It gets annoying. And I don't know how the writers continue to come up with the, oh, by the way, guys, Billy's not smart. There's the joke. Anyway. Max says, all right, Phoebe, they left him. She's left him no choice. This is her homework. With all the answers wrong. Don't think he won't hit send. Phoebe says, oh gosh, Max. She's really worried for Phoebe Tinderman. Max spelled her name wrong. Then Max said, then you'll flunk spelling too. Max is about to send it when Phoebe reveals that Hank bought Bob a new car. They go out to see it, and this cat joke. Oh, Billy's still worried about there being a cat trapped in a bag. Moving on. Billy speeds out of there after doing that lame joke that literally didn't get any laughs because it's not funny. You know comedy is subjective, you know that show. And when you have a joke where you continue to redo it every episode with the whole joke of Billy not being a genius, you know that's gonna get tiring. But you continue to do it. So I'm not gonna laugh. I'm gonna say, this is annoying. Please stop. I know you're going to continue doing it, and I'll continue having to call you out. Yeah, they're me, calling him. The rest of the I just don't like that joke. Billy speeds out. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, we see Hank and Barb. Hank complaining about the minivan breaking down. Barb says she's over that car and her heels. Hank says tonight's gonna be Hank says tonight's gonna be perfect as long as he's with Barb and he pretends he doesn't see her. Hank says things are about to get better because he reserved their favorite table. Barb says he got them the romantic chuck wagon for two. That's the best joke you got. The romantic chuck wagon. I'd be like, that's a waitress shows up and Hank says for the reservation for Thunderman, but the waitress says they're 1 hour late, so they had to give up their chuck wagon. Hank says they want the reservation, but the waitress says, yeah, it's a 90-minute wait. So Hank's like, just give them whatever table they have that has food on it. Then the Thunderman's garage, Billy and Nora are in the car while Phoebe telling them to get out of it. Nora tells Phoebe that they're soaking up the new car smell. Phoebe tells them how she promised Hank she wouldn't tell anybody, and Nora says, how's that going? Phoebe says, Hank's right, she does have a serious problem, and tells them Billy's getting a skateboard for his birthday. Max, with the return of the Max 10, which hasn't been seen since the report card, comes back. Yeah, we haven't seen the Max 10 since report card, which is interesting to bring back an old device that Max used. Max wants Billy and Nora's help turn the car into a rocket car. Phoebe's like, yeah, there's no way that's happening. We're not turning it into a rocket car. Yeah, and then Billy and Nora have chili dogs. For some reason, I don't know where they got that from. We didn't even see Billy speed out to get them. I guess Billy got them on screen. Phoebe said, you have chili dogs in a new car? And Billy says, ask them, why are they having chili dogs in a new car? And Billy says, because he didn't want a cheeseburger. Did they go to McDonald's? Or did they go to McDonald's parody? Did they go to In-N-Out Burger? Which is a Sam and Cat reference, I think. But did they go to which burger place? We never find out. Yeah. Phoebe says, get out before they spill anything. And Billy says he thinks she's talking Nora, as it's revealed that Nora got chili on the seat of the new car. And Phoebe says, and Nora says, what does she think can happen? What does she want? Nora's 8. Phoebe says she's older and get out. Yeah, Phoebe's like 14, so I guess that makes her older. Yeah, I guess that makes her older, her being 14. Yeah. Max is still working on his rocket to put in the car because he wasn't hearing anything Phoebe said. All just hearing blah, 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 blah. That's just a great one. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, we see Hank and Barb saying happy anniversary. Hank and Barb got seared into the bathrooms, so a door hits Hank as he's about to drink his water. Barb says, does Hank want to wait for another table? And Hank says it doesn't matter as long as he's looking into Barb's eye. Then the door hits Hank again, so butter lands on Barb's eye. And Hank says, one eye is good. Meanwhile, Phoebe has gotten all the chili out of the car. Max ate nachos in the car off screen, so he's taking all the cheese out. But Max accidentally puts the car in reverse. They use their telekinesis to stop it, but a bowling ball from the shelf hit, which is Hank's new bowling ball that he was going to get for his birthday, hits the car, denting it. Billy and Nora laugh at this because it's funny because Billy and Nora didn't do anything. Billy and Nora then hit Defcon Orange, which is again another move away plan. Which is another good reference to the first episode when they were going to start packing after Billy, Nora, Hank, and Phoebe's first plan of the cherry plan. But now the car is dented, they're going to try to move away to Argentina, which is a good reference to that episode. Which is a good reference to the first episode of the entire show. Phoebe says they're not running away because she needs Billy and Nora's help because before Hank finds out she told the secret. Nora says she's probably going to tell him anyway because she has a problem. What's up with this Phoebe having a problem joke? Does Phoebe need to see a therapist? Does Phoebe need to see a therapist? Just Max says that they're in, but he needs some help. But they can't do it alone. So Phoebe says they do know someone who could help. And Max says, who'd drop anything for the family. And Phoebe says, this looks like a job for a blob. And no one seems to care. Then Phoebe says, oh, it's okay, it's cute when Billy does it. Meanwhile, they're waiting for Blobbin when Blobbin shows up. Phoebe thanks Blobbin for showing up, and they show Blobbin the car. When he hears it's Hank, he tries to leave because he's mad at Hank because Blobbin said he loved Hank, but Hank was a jerk and said he didn't love him back. Max says, Blobbin, you're sensitive. And Billy says that's weird because the superpower is nothing hurts him. Blobbin says that's outside. On the inside, he's such a gooey mess. And Blobbin uses money as a tissue. And then Nora says they're there while taking the sneezed money away from Blobbin. Again, ew. And gives it to Billy. Again. Ew. Yeah, Phoebe says she's sorry that Hank hurt his feelings, and she knows Hank loves him. Blobbin says that he would be nice to hear it from him. And Max says, don't worry, Blobbin. So we fix the car. And Blobbin says he will. He just has to call his very well paid people that'll take the car. Right after Hank says, I love you, Blobbin. They're like, no. Meanwhile, walking in the kitchen door, Max says they have to get him to say I love you, Blobbin. They're gonna get Hank to say I love you, Blobbin, the same way Max got Hank to tell Principal Bradford. He never says Bradford, but since he says last week and the principal, I'm just guessing it was Principal Bradford. I don't know why he doesn't say Principal Bradford. Max just says the principal, but he knows his name. I don't know. Why didn't he say Principal Bradford? Yeah, they'll do it the same way Max told Principal Bradford he was sick. He was sick with he presses a button that says, please excuse Max from school. He's sick with a cold. Phoebe says, bro, you weren't sick last week. And Max says, Max says no, but he did record Hank saying something about cold, sick in school, and the other words, so he just pieced it together in an app. Where he pieced together Phoebe's calling herself this is Phoebe, she is a duty head. I still have Kara Costin's reaction, where she's kind of interested, where she's like, but then when she hears it, she's like, I just love that reaction. That is such Phoebe's like, I just love Kara Costin's reaction to that. she's first interested, but then when she hears Max call her Duty Head, she's like, she's more confused. That's just great. That's just great acting. That's just great, like, movement acting. Like, that. Phoebe says that she doesn't know how she feels about this, and Max thinks he does. Where Max created a message where Phoebe is calling Max a genius, and Max is like, "Oh, thank you, Phoebe." Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Phoebe and Max are watching Hank and Barb. Phoebe says all they need to do is to record the message, record. All they need to do is record Hank saying he loves blobbin. It's their anniversary. It shouldn't be too hard to get the love part. Then a door hits Hank again, so he says he's gonna rip the door off his hinges. What if it just happens is like, then Hank's like, take this door, and then throws it. He rips it off and says, take this hitting door. And then the lady's like, Mr. Thunderman, why is there a door? Why is there our door through the wall? And then Hank's like, it must have been hitting off his hinges. Okay, I thought about that, and it was super funny. So I decided to put it here. Yeah. Hank says he's gonna rip the door off its hinges, and Max says he's recorded eye and hinges. Phoebe says Hank wrote Barb a love poem, and Hank love poem. And Phoebe telekinetically steals the love poem and changes Barb to blobbin. So it will say he loves blobbin. Then she mimics Max's app by saying, "Wow, Phoebe is a genius." And the way Kara Costner just smiles after saying that, it's just creepy. Whoever's watching that episode, pause there. See how creepy that is. It will haunt you. It haunts it, man. It's just creepy. Phoebe calls herself a genius. Wow, Phoebe, you're a genius. Max says, hurry up, genius. Hank is looking for the note. Hank is looking for the poem. Max hits record, and Hank reads the poem, says, I love you. And then he says the poem, and then he says, I love you. But before he can say blobbin, a door hits him again. So Hank drops the poem in soup. Phoebe says, why didn't he say blobbin? Call her blobbin. And Max says, all he says is love. So Max says, what are they doing? Phoebe says, she knows a plan to get them to say, I love you, blobbin. She just does. I don't know. Phoebe says, she and Max dress in costumes. Meanwhile, Blobbin meets Dr. Colosso, and Billy and Nora use their powers to see how tough Blobbin is. And we learn Blobbin is really ticklish. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, Phoebe and Max dress like cows. The cow approaches Hank and Barb and gives Hank a dessert menu where Phoebe wrote Blobbin's name on it. Hank says they'll have the vanilla ice cream blob in hot fudge. Hank says he got it, and he takes Barb's biscuit. So they go to the restaurant kitchen to call Blobbin, and Hank plays the piece together message. I'm so sorry. I love you, Blobbin. Okay, it's more funny on the episode than me reading it out loud, but that was funny. And Blobbin says he loves Hank. Blob out dinner going, and Hank says, please excuse Max from school today. He's sick with a cold. And then Blobbin says he's so sorry to hear that, and asks how Phoebe's doing. And Max presses the Phoebe is a duty head, and Blobbin says Hank's just going through his awkward years. Do you not know how old that dude is? Okay. Phoebe says they have to go, but he won't calls people to fix the car. Blobbin says blobsolutely, which I don't think we ever hear him say again, but it's just no that he says it for this episode. Anything for his pal Hank, who loves him. Meanwhile, at the tournament house, Billy and Nora are still testing how tough Blobbin is by throwing him a new bowling ball. Phoebe and Max come home, and Max asks who said that they could use his new cannon, and they both point at each other. Phoebe says not the time, Max, and asks Blobbin if his guys fix the car. Blobbin jokes by saying, "What car?" And they go to the garage. Blobbin reveals that he changed the color of the car from red to twilight fog. Then Phoebe screams. They go to the garage, and Blobbin reveals he changed the color to twilight fog. Then Phoebe screams in the soundproof car. They hear Hank coming, and they hear telling Barb to come to the garage, so they tell Blobbin to leave, and he does. Hank reveals the car, and Barb says that she likes it as twilight fog, as it's anything better than red. Hank says that he knows Barb better than that, and Hank says he tells Phoebe who turned the car gray, even though Billy just told you it's twilight fog, bro. Get your thing correct. Billy says it's twilight fog, but then Hank says who turned the car gray. Again, Hank, Billy literally just told you what it was called. It's twilight gray, bro. So Phoebe says she can't tell anyone. It's a secret. And Hank says good. And Hank says good. She learned her lesson. But he says that He says that whoever turned it to twilight fog is the person he loves the most. Blobbin says he did so, and Hank says he loves Blobbin. Phoebe and Max fist bump to end the episode. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wrote. I'm deciding to put a new thing where I don't put my pros and cons and what I say. I'm just deciding to do a normal, actual review where I just say the episode title, say it to the end. And also, but I do have something to say. That is actually either a Toyota or a Chevy. But the writers couldn't have it that way because, of course, they couldn't have it that way. So they literally just took off the brand of the actual car. That's why it has no branding. That's why it doesn't have like a Chevy or a Toyota logo on it. Because, of course, they couldn't, because Nickelodeon would have to, or Thurman's writers would have to obviously pay the car company for use of their car. So they took, or be sued or something, I don't know what it said. So they took the naming off the car, so it just looks like that. And also, again, what's up with Nora and not wearing bows? But anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time for episode 14, Thunder Sand. Yeah, I'm starting to go with a new format for these reviews. No more pros and cons. No more suits up. Just talking about the episode and saying my final thoughts. Hopefully you enjoy this new format. Might do it for the last video and this video. Hopefully you enjoy this new format because, yeah, I just didn't want my videos to be my scripts to be 5 pages long. So with this new format, it's only 4 pages long, which I'm okay with. But yeah, next episode we have the intro.